jet back for runway 31, deauthorized 022 millibars.
A tornado from the RAF's 29 Fighter Squadron returns from a simulated combat mission, part of the NATO War Games being held in Canada under the name Maple Flag. This is the last but one day. These jets have mostly been in the air twice a day for 9 days now. Some are showing signs of fatigue. Only 2 more battle sorties to fly, and the squadron is feeling the strain.
Probably the biggest problem for us will be maintaining the serviceability of the aircraft, because 6 aircraft waves requires a lot of engineering effort. So the engineers will be working extremely hard.
Look left 10 o'clock, turning in on us. Look right o'clock,
One of the 8 British tornadoes, call sign Bravo Alpha, has broken down on the Cold Lake runway. The pilot can't steer the jet. The base only has 2 runways, so the tornado is now a danger to the 80 other warplanes that are also trying to land here.
Yeah, he's lost his nose wheel steering on the aircraft, so we're going to have to recover it off the runway using the tractor.
This breakdown is embarrassing to the squadron, even though it's no one's fault. The Americans, Canadians and Germans are looking on.
Very rarely do we get an aircraft that lands without any problems at all. So after each sortie, there is work to be done on each aircraft. So it all adds up to an awful lot of servicing.
These tornadoes each cost tens of millions, but although they are supersonic killing machines, they are easily grounded for technical reasons. They are fragile. After every mission, the flight crews check in to report any faults. The crew with the steering problem are not the only unhappy ones today. Even the tiniest malfunction is logged and can ground the jet, taking it out of the war games.
A bit of fuel, bit of thrust reverse and landing.
No RHWR.
No RHWR.
JTs didn't work. Nice and easy.
It's a 5 squadron jet, that's fine. It's not one of our own.
Unfortunately, on landing, we've had 3 major problems. The first one was on the crewing this morning. Bravo Hotel, the right-hand engine wouldn't start, and we're at the moment changing the main fuel control unit. Hopefully that will come up in time for this afternoon's wave. Also, Bravo Delta has landed with a reheat pedal missing. This is a very serious problem, and we think it might lead to an engine change.
Can we have a bit of hush, please? Right then, Bravo Alpha is US. It's got a nose-wheel steering snag, a right-hand intake ramp, a left-hand wing fuel transfer problem, and it's now got an APU change.
The RAF Air Defence Squadron has brought 80 ground crew to Canada. They work in shifts around the clock, 12 hours on, 12 off. Each jet has its own call sign.
Hotel will be serviceable, but it's got an ADF for a reheat flame holder, and it's having a DPG change as we talk.
These men are not ordinary aircraft mechanics. They're highly specialised tradesmen.
All our guys, like our engineers, they're qualified radar technicians, they're qualified electrical engineers, they're qualified mechanical engineers and fitters. They're all very specialised in their own field. Whenever they get down to changing an engine, there aren't 100 of them running about doing it. It's a very small team, and they've all got very specific tasks to be getting on with.
An engine change. Obviously, the aircraft have 2 engines, and to change the engine is disconnecting all the fuel pipes, hydraulic pipes, etc., and then dropping the engine down with 2 huge winches, replacing it with a new engine. It takes about 8 hours in total, so it's a day's work.
Meanwhile, Bravo Alpha with the faulty steering cannot be fixed on the line. It's been towed to a hangar. 2 of the squadron's 8 jets are now out of action, with just a few hours to go before the afternoon mission.
We almost expect to run with reduced numbers. If we brief for 6, we'll invariably expect 5. We're flying on a very tight aeroplane budget. We've only got 8, which are expecting 75% serviceable every day, which back at home is higher than normal. Leaving them outside in the cold and the rain and the snow here doesn't help. So if it gets down to more than 4, I start to become aggravated.
On the line, the engine change team have confirmed the missing reheat petal damage and the need to put in a new engine.
One of the petals at the back end, the reheat petals is missing. We come back today with this bit here out.
With a fault like this, it's got to be a whole engine change. We have one engine board out with us. We've got the change kit here. So, though as you can see, it's quite an involved job. We've got all the kit to do it, and hopefully we should be able to get this aircraft back up tonight. At the moment, I'm quite involved because all the aircraft have landed US with different snags. Some of them quite minor, some of them still quite serious. We've still, for instance, got a nose wheel steering problem on Bravo Alpha. There's still quite a lot of fault diagnosis going on there. So that's probably going to keep us going for most of the evening, probably right until end of play at midnight tonight. A small wicket problem, can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Looks like that's been...
The numbers of faulty tornadoes have now worried the squadron commander as well.
Bravo Hotel.
Estimate 10 tonight, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Bravo Hotel, minor hide leak.
He wants to know how many planes he'll have for the afternoon war.
Looks like an RT change, but if there's a problem, like I say, if there's still a problem on Alpha, or if we're unsure anyway, then we'll swap that round and Alpha will be second spare.
Okay, right, that's fair enough.
At the end of a flying day, it is not uncommon to have a large number of the aircraft technically US. I mean, they could be used if you needed them in extremis, but yeah, you know, for perfection, and which is the way we tend to operate, they require work, which makes them US. And even if somebody decides that the frequencies on the radio need changing on the engineer's board, that aircraft goes US until that job is done.
The day's second mission is underway. Take off in half an hour. Enough tornadoes have been fixed. The RAF will try to fly 6 jets. But before taking off, each pilot must inspect his aircraft to ensure it's airworthy.
When you walk out to the aircraft you have already signed for it, and that aircraft then belongs to us. And so we have the responsibility to ensure that it gets airborne in an airworthy condition. So despite the fact that the engineers have gone all over it, we always go around to check the security of all the panels, make sure there's no lock pins fitted in the undercarriage or in various bits and places where we've got safety pins, and make sure that it is visibly airworthy, because we are then responsible for it. If we got airborne and a panel came open because it had been left insecure, the pilot would be held responsible, not the ground crew, because he would have checked it.
As the minutes to take off tick by, there's tension on the squadron's jet line. This is where all the ground crew's hard work can count for nothing.
That's our sort of critical time, really, out on the line. The lads are under pressure, and the aircrew, because they've got a lot on their mind at that particular time, aren't really that interested in niceties with the ground crew. Everybody gets very task-orientated, and the job comes first, sort of thing. So good mornings usually go out of the window and that sort of thing. For each aircraft, we have a 2-man team who see off the aircraft, and for every 2 jets, we have a corporal that oversees the 2 aircraft see off. Then we would have a line walker, that is an overseer of the whole of the line. And then we'd have the hit team, which consists of 1 person from each trade, which travel around in a vehicle at high speed usually, to sort out any crewing problems, to try and get the aircraft serviceable for the flight. They're only a certain amount of problems that we can actually sort out once the aircrew are in the jet, but it's always worth having a go.
But for the crew of Tornado Bravo Kilo, there's no last-minute reprieve. It's gone US, unserviceable, and can't fly. But there's still time to try another one.
What's the problem, one of the ramps has failed on the right-hand engine, so we can't take the jet supersonic, which is what we need today, unfortunately. So it's also maybe an engine snag, so we're going to take the spare instead. Here we are, get the run.
We always keep as many jets as possible as spares, and they will be manned and ready to go, so the aircrew can crew out of one jet and crew into the other one as soon as possible.